Everyone's obsessed with the British royal family right now, but I gotta tell you that the Japanese royal family is just as rich and romantic. You likely know all about the White House or Buckingham Palace, but you probably know nothing about the living or professional arrangements of the Japanese royal family. The Imperial Palace is made up of several different buildings on a giant park-like area. It's built on the site of the old Edo Castle, which was itself constructed in 1457. It's a true classic example of Japanese architectural artistry, with its heavily pointed rooftops and simple but dramatic color scheme. As you might expect from people who live in a literal castle, this family likes to keep hold of their private lives more than most. While the buildings themselves are gorgeous, the true value here are the gardens and greenery. This is one of the finest parks in the country and a major tourist attraction for the 32 million people who visit the country every year. Legend has it that the value of the Imperial Palace is much more than you'd even imagine. It's been said to be worth alone more than all of the property in California. Generally, the place is considered to be priceless, but attempts have been made to put a number to the palace, and that number is impressive even by palace standards. The claim is that it is worth upwards of $5.1 trillion. While that number was given during a booming time for Tokyo's housing market, today it's still said to be worth over $12 billion. As impressive as all that is, clearly whoever made the original claim has no idea just how much property there is in California. Even 5.1 trill likely isn't even close. Perhaps the most significant items in the royal family's care are known as the Imperial Royal Regalia, otherwise called the Three Sacred Treasures. They consist of a legendary sword, mirror, and gem that represent valor, wisdom, and benevolence. The legend claims that they were brought to Earth from a sun goddess. As far as how much these items are worth, they are truly priceless, so even trying to price them seems futile. I'd say at least one California, maybe a California and a half. Of course, there are some that claim that the three sacred treasures are in fact the three big old hoaxes. That's because no one outside of the highest officials are permitted to look upon the items. Officially, that is to symbolize their authority. That's all well and good, but the fact that no one outside of the officials have had the chance to give these items the full Antiques Roadshow process has given rise to theories that they are actually the three biggest fraudulent antiquities in the world. So what kind of cars do you ride in when you're Japanese royals? Well, evidently the family rides around in a modestly impressive car. Their official state car is a Toyota Century Royal. That may not seem like the flashiest official car, but its $500,000 price is no joke. That's without the kinds of additions families like theirs add to their vehicles. That includes bulletproofing, emergency escape hatches, and likely a system that would make the car fly. Not only do they use typical Century Royals, they had an even more stylish one created just for the 2019 Coronation Parade. It's a convertible, which definitely isn't typical for this model. Not only that, but the back seats were raised so that they could successfully wave to passers-by as they made their way through the parade. They are so loyal to this brand that evidently the fallen Prince Mikasa was taken away in a Toyota Century hearse. That is loyalty all the way to the grave. Gotta respect that. America's Air Force One might be the most famous plane in the world right now, but they aren't the only nation who uses a plane just like it. Japan has their own Air Force One that carries the Imperial Royal Family, the Prime Minister, and other high-ranking officials. They use a Boeing 777-300ER, which is pretty popular for taking high-ranking officials, dignitaries, and royals through the skies. They aren't cheap either, with a price of over $320 million. Not only that one, but they have a second one known as Air Force 2 for another $320 mil. They are big on brand loyalty, gotta give them that. So let's get a rundown of who exactly is in the Japanese royal family. Currently, the Emperor of Japan is Naruhito. He's held the title since his father abdicated the position in 2019. He is said to be worth alone $100 million. His father, Akihito, reigned from 1989 to 2019, though his net worth only went to around $40 million. Even though at that time it sounds like he could have sold his house for one whole California. Like Queen Elizabeth, he was the longest-serving monarch in his nation's history, holding the position alongside over 17 prime ministers. That's not necessarily impressive considering the fact that the recently deceased Queen of England evidently passed away with a net worth of over $400 million. Well, the value of the imperial properties that the royal family has access to is said to be in the neighborhood of $19.9 billion, so that's a lot more like it. So let's take a look at the current Emperor of Japan and his royal family drama. Well, someone called Lifetime because back when the current emperor was still a prince, his romance to his current wife was just as dramatic as the 10,000 Prince Marries a Regular Girl movies they've made over the years. Empress Masako was a fairly normal person compared to the imperial royal family. She and her family moved to America and she studied relentlessly to pursue a career as a diplomat. She met the prince at a tea ceremony and he was struck with what can only be described as love at first sight. This was a huge scandal because her grandmother was a controversial figure due to her overseeing some dangerous chemical practices. The prince's family tried to push him away from her and even removed her name as a potential candidate for his bride. He remained undeterred and actually proposed to her 3 times before she accepted. Evidently, she wasn't so much scared of the pressures of the royal family as she was the prospect of giving up her career she fought so hard for. Once he described the marriage as the ultimate diplomatic career, though, she was all in. The two married in 1993 in a lavish ceremony that would put any royal wedding in its place. The 30-pound silk kimono the bride wore took 3 hours to put on and cost over $300,000. Now tell me you wouldn't want to watch that movie. I know all of you are watching House of the Dragon right now, so you'll be interested to know that the imperial succession has a very similar controversy going on at the moment, only with less dragons. The only child of the emperor is his daughter Aiko. Currently, it is not permitted for a woman to ascend the chrysanthemum throne. While it did seem as though public opinion and lawmakers were leaning toward amending the law so that she could ascend, the birth of a male nephew to the emperor seems to have ended the debate for now. If HBO has taught me anything, it's that succession drama never truly ends, and that it's always entertaining. As rich as this family is, they don't even rank in the top 15 richest royal families in the world. That competition is fierce.